everybody, Stephanie here. So we recently announced that we were going to plan a big trip to Alaska, and admittedly I have failed completely on updating you guys on what we've been doing. But I have been really busy. I just didn't make the progress that I thought I was going to, which kind of disappointing, but also kind of great because it means I get to teach you guys some of the roadblocks that I ran into. As everybody knows, right now, travel everywhere is limited or closed. Obviously, the US-Canada border is closed right now, so that's one of the first kind of obstacles we ran into. Between now and when we get to Alaska, we're really trying not to plan too far in advance. We want to just kind of play with things, stay in places longer when we want to be there, and not have to worry about being in a specific place at a specific time because that makes sense along the route. So we're kind of thinking right now we will just stay along the northern path, maybe hit North Dakota, Montana. We want to spend some time in Idaho. Zach's been wanting to go there for quite a while, so we will definitely spend some time there. But then, do we want to go north from there and head up into Canada to get up to Alaska? Or do we want to go over, spend some time in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington, which we've wanted to do? So it's all just going to kind of play into timing and what we're able to do. Typically there are 10 sites where you can drive from the United States into Canada, and right now, because of COVID, there's only 5 open. So the 2 that we're looking for are Kingsgate, which is just north of Idaho, or the Abbotsford Huntingdon, and that one is right above Seattle. So just depending upon which route we take, that's the port that we'll have to use. As far as time in Canada, this is something that I'm trying to do a lot of research on. I don't have a lot of answers yet. I've got a lot of emails out to people, even as far as some of the Canada government, but because of the closure, they are really cracking down on people from the US being in the country. So according to their travel website, they say you have reasonable time to be in Canada and get yourself from the entry border to the exit border at Alaska. The problem is I don't know exactly what reasonable means. For us, reasonable isn't going to be a week. Whether we drive from the northern tip of Idaho or from Seattle, it's about 38 hours before we get to Juneau. So taking that into account, we need to remember Piper can't be in the car for 10, 11, 12 hours a day. There's no way she'll make it. It's not fair to her. And we only want to drive on the weekends. So for us, to not have to take time off just to drive is really important. We want to make sure that we have plenty of time available for when we get to Alaska so that we can really enjoy everything while we're there. So like I said, I have some emails out. I've been really scouring the websites, trying to find out some information on, what reasonable time is. We do know that the time that we spend there is not going to be time that we get to do anything. You could possibly have read by now that we were planning to be in Banff in August of this year, and that didn't happen because of the border closure. So the fact that we're likely going to be driving right by and not be able to go in is a little bit heartbreaking for us, but hopefully things will continue getting better as they are where we are here in the East Coast. And we know back at home right now in Wisconsin things are not so good. So hopefully that gets under control a little bit, and then maybe after we spend the few months in Alaska, on our way back we may be able to visit, which would be just wonderful. That's been on both of our bucket lists, so it's definitely a place we want to be able to stop. But they're cracking down a lot. Like I said, they're going to give us a hang tag as soon as we enter the country, and that hang tag is going to have the date that we expect to leave the country, as well as some other details, which again, I can't quite find exactly what that is, but we are not allowed to go to the grocery store. We are not allowed to go to any of the national parks, any, tourist attractions, nothing like that, which is really unfortunate because Canada is such a beautiful country that just driving through it is going to be a little bit painstaking. But they even go as far as saying if you're going to go for food, you have to go somewhere that has a drive-through and pick it up that way. So it's going to take a little bit more planning that way than we anticipated. But I want to just kind of share with you where we're at right now. I just did a whole lot of talking, but as you can see in the map up here, I've got the 2 optional routes up for you. Like I said, both of them are right about 38 hours. One thing I didn't know when starting to look into this is that you have to take a ferry. So we are also trying to decide, would we be better off putting the Jeep on a ferry and taking that for a longer period, and then maybe not putting the extra wear and tear miles, those kind of things on the Jeep? I'm not exactly sure yet what the distance is that we could take it for. But we know it is something that we are going to have to do, which will be interesting. Piper's not been on a boat as of yet, and obviously ferry's pretty big, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, we've got, from, as you can see there, from the United States border to the port of exit in Watson, which is where we get into Alaska, that time is about 24 hours. So trying to find places to stay has also been tough. I'm trying to keep us at about 6-7 hours of driving a day. Some of the days have been 8, just to kind of get to a bigger place where we can potentially find an Airbnb or a hotel to stay in. But as we get closer to the Yukon Territory, there aren't places. There's, one kind of older looking, I don't want to say rundown, but just very old fashioned looking motel, and I haven't been able to find much more than that. So it'll be interesting to keep you guys posted and let you know exactly what we found. I want to thank you guys for watching this. I know I didn't give you a ton of information. I kind of wanted to get it out there for you, just let you know some of the things we've been running into. Down below in the blog post, I will link up some of the best resources I have found, just for the drive in general, as well as if anybody else is planning to make this drive while COVID is going on and while the border's closed, I'd love to share the information with you that I found. And I've actually recently gotten a good amount of information on where to look for things through my training for being a travel agent. So I will link some of those sites there as well. Some of those may even help you for other travel. I know I just read a bunch on, when you're traveling to colder climates, things that are important to talk to people about, supplies they may need, different types of clothing, those kind of things. So I'd like to definitely make this as useful for you as possible, as well as just sharing our story with you guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that something that I've linked below will be useful to you, and I hope you continue following as we get more details lined up for this trip. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.